Hello everyone, in this video we're going to learn how to solve for the sine, cosine, tangent values without using calculator. This video is requested by a student who is reviewing for his entrance test. Now, hindi lahat ng test nag-alaw ng calculator, so lahat talaga ng math problems, you have to solve it mano-mano. So for those of you who are reviewing for their scholarship and entrance exam, this video is for you. Before I proceed, I just want to thank Miss Janice Domingo for teaching me this technique back in college. And I want to thank Miss Valerie Maymas for lending me her Malaartistang Kamay. Okay, let's start. Now, if we are going to get or find the trigo values of angles, kailangan talaga ng calculator. Pero hindi lahat ng angles, kailangang i-calculator. We have here the special angles. Ito mga special angles, palagi itong ginagamit sa trigonometric problems, geometric, and triangle problems. So ito yung mga angles na hindi kailangang i-calculator. Kasi ito, pwedeng kamayin lang. We just have to assign 0 degrees to your pinky finger, 30 degrees to your ring finger, 45 middle, 60 for the pointing finger, and 90 degrees for the thumb. Aside from this, you have to memorize this template. Square root of blank over 2. If we want to solve for the sine, cosine, and tangent value of 0 degrees, we just have to fold the pinky finger. After folding the pinky finger kasi, naging boundary na yan. The next step kasi doon is that you are just going to count the number of fingers before and after the boundary. So, naging boundary na po si pinky finger. To solve for the sine of 0 degrees, you just have to count the number of fingers after this boundary. And as you can see naman, walang finger after the pinky finger. So 0. Yun pong isusulat sa blank na radical na yan. So sine of 0 degrees is square root of 0 over 2. Now square root of 0 is 0. And 0 over 2 is 0. So sine of 0 degrees is 0. Para naman makuha yung cosine, we just have to count the number of fingers before the boundary. So ilan ba yung fingers before the pinky finger? There are 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4, yan pong ilalagay mo inside the radical. So cosine of 0 degrees is equal to square root of 4 over 2. Now square root of 4 is 2. Natira si 2. And 2 over 2 is 1. So the cosine of 0 degrees is 1. Paano naman ang tangent? Now always remember that tangent is equal to sine over cosine. At na-solve natin yung sine of 0 degrees. So tangent of 0 degrees is equal to sine. Ano bang sine of 0 degrees? It's 0. And cosine of 0 degrees is 1. So tangent of 0 degrees is 0 divided by 1, that is 0. So ganun lang po kadali ang pagkakamay ng trigo values ng angles. Now, what if we want to get the sine of 30 degrees? Okay, so bilangin ulit ang fingers after the boundary. So isang finger lang naman, we just have to write 1. Square root of 1 is 1. And so the sine of 30 degrees is 1/2. What about cosine? Now cosine of an angle, you just have to count the number of fingers before the boundary. So before the boundary, there are 3 fingers. So we just have to write that inside the radical. So the cosine of 30 degrees is square root of 3 over 2. No need to simplify. So that will be the answer. To get the tangent of 30 degrees, kunin lang si sine of 30 degrees and ang sine ng 30 degrees ay 1/2. Ang cosine of 30 degrees naman ay square root of 3 over 2. The next thing we're going to do is to write this horizontally. Ako kasi mas madali sa akin ang pag-divide kung nakasulat siya horizontally. So, paano ba yan? That is 1/2 divided by square root of 3 over 2. Paano ulit ang pag-divide ng fractions? You just have to get the reciprocal of the divisor and change division to multiplication. After that, you can just multiply numerator to numerator, denominator to denominator. So 1 times 2 is 2. And 2 times square root of 3 is 2, the square root of 3. And as you can see, may pwedeng makancel. So the answer here is 1 over the square root of 3. But in mathematics, no, ayaw natin na sa denominator ay may square root. So we have to rationalize the denominator. And how do we rationalize the denominator? We just have to get the denominator and multiply it to both the numerator and the denominator. So 1 times square root of 3 is square root of 3. The square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is 3. So the tangent of 30 degrees is square root of 3 over 3. So yan po ang mga values ng angle na 30 degrees. Now kapag 45 degrees, we just have to fold the middle finger and just count the fingers before and after the boundary. Since there are 2 fingers after the boundary, we just have to write 2. So ang sine of 45 degrees is the square root of 2 over 2. What about the cosine of 45 degrees? I think parehas din lang. There are 2 fingers before the boundary. So that will be square root of 2 over 2. To get the tangent of 45 degrees, that is sine over cosine. So square root of 2 divided by 2, square root of 2 divided by 2. Now, this is the same number. We can actually cancel that. So, ang nititira lang dyan ay 1. So, the tangent of 45 degrees is 1. Now, I want you to try solving for the trigo values of these angles. And after solving, I want you to check it using your calculator. So, that's it for today. And thank you for the video request.